Minato's KCM is one of those moments in the manga that feels thrilling but produces several questions, due to which it is usually called a plot hole. When chapter 631 dropped and Minato appeared cloaked in golden flames just like Naruto, everyone's jaws hit the floor. Up until then, the entire narrative told us taming the Nine Tails was nearly impossible. Naruto had to fight tooth and nail, physically and emotionally, to win Kurama's trust. Killer Bee had to form a unique bond with Gyuki. Every other Jinchuriki we saw either struggled endlessly or got consumed. And then suddenly, Minato, the guy who died the very night Kurama was sealed, shows up glowing like he'd been best friends with the fox all along. So how? I can think of three main possibilities, but the last one is highly likely. Possibility 1. Minato fought Kurama for 16 years inside the Reaper Death Seal. Now this is the theory that pops up in a lot of Reddit threads, and it's fascinating but messy. The idea goes like this. When Minato used the dead demon consuming seal, his soul and the yin half of Kurama were both locked inside the Shinigami's stomach. People speculate that during those 16 years between his death and his revival, Minato was constantly battling Kurama inside that spiritual prison. By fighting and wrestling for dominance, he supposedly earned control over the yin half, which explains why he could use KCM immediately after Edo Tensei. Sounds cool, right? Almost like Minato had his own secret Jinchuriki journey off screen. But here's the problem. The manga never hints at this once. The Reaper Death Seal isn't portrayed as some training ground. It's a prison where sealed souls are stuck forever, unable to interact with the living world. Hiruzen, when he uses it later, makes it clear that the Shinigami's stomach is eternal bondage. No fighting, no training, just imprisonment. So as much as the theory is badass, the idea of Minato and Kurama locked in an eternal death match until one submits, it doesn't hold up under canon. If Minato truly had to wrestle Kurama into submission, we would have seen resistance in chapter 631 or 643. Instead, his Kurama just cooperates instantly. Still, it's worth mentioning because it reflects the way fans want Minato to be, a Hokage so brilliant that even in death he outsmarts the Nine Tails. Possibility 2. Minato befriended Kurama himself. This one is less popular, but some people interpret Minato's calm demeanor in the war as proof that he had formed his own bond with Kurama at some point. The argument is that Minato, unlike most Jinchuriki, had the intelligence, sealing knowledge and willpower to actually reason with the fox even in a short time. After all, Kushina had a bond with Kurama before her death. A hostile one, yes, but she knew how to interact with it. So maybe Minato, through his genius and sealing prowess, managed to create a similar bond with the yin half. But again, canon undercuts this. Minato died literally minutes after sealing Kurama. He didn't have time to negotiate, to argue, to show Kurama his heart. And Kurama at that point was still drowning in hatred, fueled by Obito's manipulation. The chance of Minato befriending it in those final moments is basically zero. What fans often confuse here is Edo Tensei Minato's calmness. He looks like he's in control because the yin half isn't resisting him. But that isn't Minato's own bond. Possibility 3. Minato had KCM because Naruto befriended Kurama. This is the most widely accepted explanation, and it lines up perfectly with the manga's logic. Remember, Kurama was split into two halves the night of Naruto's birth. The yang half sealed inside Naruto and the yin half sealed inside Minato via the dead demon consuming seal. When Minato died, his yin half of Kurama was dragged into the Reaper's stomach. But when he was revived through Edo Tensei, he came back with that seal intact, meaning the yin Kurama was still inside him. Now here's the critical part. The Nine Tails isn't two separate beings. Yin and Yang Kurama share the same consciousness, the same memories, the same will. They're two sides of one whole. So when Naruto went through his long battle of hatred, loneliness, and finally friendship with the Yang half, those emotions resonated with the Yin half as well. That's why in chapter 643, when Minato's Yin Kurama meets Naruto's Yang Kurama, there's no hostility. They recognize each other, nod, and immediately cooperate. No hatred, no tug of war. Naruto's bond with Kurama carried over to Minato automatically. In other words, Minato's control wasn't earned by him at all. It was inherited through Naruto's friendship with the fox. So what's the truth? The evidence largely supports the third explanation. Minato's access to KCM wasn't because of anything he personally did, but because of what Naruto achieved. Naruto's bond with Kurama extended across both halves, and when Minato was revived, the yin half simply cooperated. That's why chapter 643 is so important. It's the moment both halves of Kurama are shown acknowledging each other, and neither Minato nor Naruto have to force it. It's natural, it's acceptance. And honestly, this is more beautiful than the other theories. Think about it. Minato's entire life was cut short on the night Naruto was born. He never got to raise his son, never got to teach him jutsu, never got to see him struggle or succeed. But in death, when he's revived, the very bond that Naruto forged with Kurama is the reason Minato can fight alongside him. It's almost like Naruto is lending Minato the proof of his own growth. But if Minato's access to KCM wasn't because of anything he personally did, but because of what Naruto achieved, why is Naruto's Kurama shocked to see that Minato has the control over the yin half? That's a killer question, because Kurama himself looked shocked when Minato pulled out KCM during the war. So if Minato's access was just because Naruto befriended Kurama, why would Kurama react like that? When Minato sealed Kurama, the fox's chakra was cut into yin and yang halves. They share the same core will, but they aren't telepathically linked in real time. In other words, young Kurama inside Naruto doesn't instantly know what yin Kurama inside Minato is thinking or doing unless they interact directly. So when Naruto's Kurama first sees Minato in full KCM, it's the first time he realizes his other half is cooperating that easily. To him, that's surprising. Remember, Naruto had to literally beat Kurama into submission, then win him over emotionally. It was a war inside his own body. So seeing the yin half just hand itself over to Minato must have felt like, wait, what, you're letting him use you that easily? Another reason could be that Kurama knew Minato used the dead demon consuming seal on the night of Naruto's birth. From Kurama's perspective, that meant the yin half should have been trapped forever inside the Shinigami's stomach, gone for good. The shock on Naruto's Kurama's face in chapter 631 could partly be that he just realized, hold up, the other half of me is still here? Also, Naruto's Kurama earned trust through years of struggle with Naruto, but he didn't know that trust would echo across to his other half. When Minato pulls KCM instantly, Naruto's Kurama is basically shocked at how much smoother it is. No resistance, no hatred, no tug of war, just instant sync. To him, that must have felt unfair, like, I had to suffer through years of loneliness with this brat, and my other half just happily syncs with his dad without a fight. So what's the takeaway? Kurama's shock isn't evidence that Minato secretly fought him for 16 years or befriended him off-screen. It's more about surprise that the yin half even still exists, surprise that it gave power so willingly, and maybe a little jealousy that Minato didn't have to go through the same nightmare Naruto did. It actually reinforces the Naruto earned it and Minato inherited it explanation. Because if Minato had truly tamed or befriended Kurama on his own, the yang half wouldn't have been surprised. The shock only makes sense if it's Naruto's bond that carried over, not Minato's.